Start streaming.
Are we streaming now?
That does look like 10 times better.
Does it? Cool.
And now I'm gonna do my thing, where I promote everything.
He's going to promote all the stuff. Oh Jesus!
Promote everything.
Music's a little loud.
Is it?
A little bit.
Or is it just on your end, Brad?
Could just be me.
Alright, there you go. Well, you're live for everybody.
I'm live for. I gotta turn this thing down so I can read to people, talk to people. Hi, what's up, everyone? I'm talking to the mic. What's up, everybody?
Alright, that's good. That's good. That's good. Everything's good.
We just gotta
Everything's good.
give us a minute or two just to get some technical stuff figured out.
Copy, go that. Yeah, just trying to get everything posted to the social media, boys.
We're coming. We're coming.
Social media, boys.
Already came twice.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah. Alright.
where's the Oh, I can chat privately as my own thing.
You could. But you should be engaging with the
I'm not sorry.
Chat, right?
I can see the chat. Yeah. How's the audio, everybody?
I did already ask that. I'm hoping that.
Sounds great, Sean Miller says.
Good.
Thanks, Sean.
Music's not too loud.
Plastic waste in our environment. America's beverage companies
are carefully designing our
Is
bottles
the music
to
loud?
be
Too
100%
loud?
recyclable. That means every bottle that's recycled
can be turned
Can you hear me
into material we use to
through
make
this
new bottles.
Sexy microphone. Sexy microphone.
Ooh, it looks so good, buddy. Alright, we're looking good.
We're good.
Everything's looking mighty fine.
You're gonna grab the top of laps.
Yeah. And then if we do that, you might have an easier time seeing things, buddy.
Yeah, because I can't see it there. I can barely even see my phone.
But I can see everything from there. I have to go get a drink. I need to get
And you're talking to it
laptop.
for clearer. What if I move it closer?
I just need 30 seconds. Go ahead and
30
talk
seconds.
to people, see if we get that settings good, and we'll move on.
So if we have these things closer to us, it's better then, right? My mouthpiece. Like this? Is this better? This is all new stuff. So hopefully it works out good. If you guys can hear us. I'm a quiet talker anyway, so. Make sure it blocks my face. Hey, Pendog, welcome to your first live. We're gonna be starting here in about, I don't know, like a minute. Oh my god, people are blowing up. Today should be a good episode. I think today's gonna be a pretty fun one. There's a lot of stuff on this table right now. I don't think you guys can see it. Oh, and another thing. The camera we're using, it may shut off. But if it does, we will be right back on within like 10 seconds. It has a, like a whatever screen delay thing or something. I don't know. Yo, what's up, Kudo? Throw some 360s down on the board. No. Oh, me on my snowboard, yeah. That was fun.
How are we looking on settings?
I think we're looking good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Everybody's happy?
I think everybody's happy. Oh!
Sorry for the slight delay, everybody.
Got beverages.
Troubleshooting here last second. Oh, I'm right in front of everything. Look at that. Where can I put this?
Well, you can take these over here.
Yeah.
And then we can do this with these.
That actually might set up right there. That's not going to block this camera.
I don't know. Well, maybe
Is it in it?
it's in it.
Oh, no.
What?
Wait, I have a solution. Move those over.
What?
The rats and put that on the floor.
Okay. No, it's better. You guys don't mind seeing a laptop, do you?
Oh, you can barely see it. That's
So
fine.
we
As
can-
long as it's not.
So I can read you.
Mint.
But now
All
this
right.
thing's right in my way.
What is?
I can't read through this.
Move it however you need to. It's fine.
No, it's fine. We're good.
Everybody's good. Everything's looking good. Everybody's good on the audio. Let's drink. I haven't seen that name in a while.
Hasn't hooked myself yet. Well, I better hook myself a few times tonight because I got some tasty beers to drink.
Dude, I already hooked myself good when I was pulling out one of those things from earlier. Alright, go straight across.
Alright. For tonight.
That's Definitive Brewing Company.
Definitive Brewing Company. It says bass reflex, but I like bass reflex better. So, this is a bass fishing show. I might as well. What do we got here?
Okay.
How do I,
So you're on...
Where do I go?
Oh, where's the mouse? Ha. I got you, buddy.
Got it.
Right there. Wrong mouse!
I hooked myself. You guys gotta start drinking. Son of
That didn't take long. There you go. It runs.
Oh, it's loud. I hooked myself.
It's gonna
You
be
guys gotta
bad.
start drinking. Son of That's better.
Forgot to shut that audio on. Alright.
Pussy fart.
Alright, boys, we're gonna go straight up New Hampshire beer tonight to start. I got a lot of goodies, but one of my favorite breweries is Moat Mountain.
Can I
Get all
blow
up
the
in
chat
here
out?
for you guys. What?
Can I blow that chat out?
I don't remember how. There's gotta be a way to do it. Just
Let's drink.
kind of echo. Uh-oh. Let me know if the echo is really bad, boys.
Let's just do this.
I think if I were to turn it around like that.
That actually works better. Can you still hear me? Oh, sure. I'm talking right into it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking a little offset, but I think it's good. So, we got a few changes for the stream. But first, let me finish my previous thought. Yep. Oh, Mountain. It's funny. I could come into you. Clockwork Mandarina, a New England style pale ale. Triple dry hop, Citra, lemon drop, and Mandarina Bavaria. Sounds pretty good. Alright. Just me that's echoing. So, we got a couple changes. You can see Mike and Mike trying to get better audio quality. There is going to be some troubleshooting only because everything got delivered today. I went to Mint Print Works with him earlier, and we went and got stuff quoted for hats and shirts and hoodies, the whole 9 yards. And then I spent the last hour and 45 minutes trying to get everything set up between borrowing John, owner of Wicked Custom Rod. He let us borrow his Nikon D3200 DSLR. So we should have much better video quality, and then I got us both separate mics. I had that one already for my computer. This is a brand new one. There might be a little echo because it could be. I won't bore you with the details. If it's echoey, if everything sounds kind of wonky, no echo from Andrew. It's got a bit of an echo. Give me a second. I can address that.
It says it's bearable, so yeah, deal with it.
Bearable ain't gonna cut it for me, buddy. What I can do is I can turn the input down a little bit on my mic. It's kind of odd that it's. Yeah?
I like that.
Yeah, I would assume this is actually really good too. Alright, so give me 1 second. I'm going to dip off the screen back to my computer over there and see if I can't fix the echo on this. In the meantime, what are we talking about tonight, buddy?
We're talking traditional versus trophy fishing.
You can probably swing your mic in a little bit because it's just me that's echoing. This is the new mic, and there's definitely a setting with it I gotta mix. But go ahead, give me the introduction as to what we're talking about, and I'll see if I can't enable this for a second when we get to it.
Oh, David Richard got his hat today.
Nice!
Nice. Cool. So we are talking differences. I guess there's some similarities maybe sometimes, but with traditional fishing and trophy fishing. And we haven't really done much trophy fishing besides the last 3 years that we've been actually really getting into it. And we've noticed that our baits are getting a lot bigger. Not going to go into specifics, but I don't really know how to begin that, really.
That's pretty much it.
I mean, the baits that you're going to be throwing are pretty much completely different. Like, you will catch, if you're going to go out traditional fishing, you're pretty much going out to catch fish. Like, oh yeah, we've had those days where it's, yeah, let's just go catch a couple fish. Sometimes those days turn into trophy hunting because either the bite's really good or the bite's really bad, and we say, you know, forget it, let's just go throw these big baits and we'll go try and catch one giant fish. Can't go any better. Oh, that's
Can't
good.
go any better. Yeah. So it's just on my end. It's a different mic, so there's only so much I can do to change the settings on this, and unfortunately, it has to be done on the fly. There's some things I can't really troubleshoot very well until, unfortunately, we're in the process of trying to record or do the stream or anything. So let me know if the echo is any better. I tried to turn the input volume down a little bit. Nope. All right, let me think about that. There's one other setting I can change. But, well, what time is it anyway?
8:12. You guys don't mind. Oh, he said much better. It's better.
Oh, it's better.
It's better. You're a liar. I see Trump something.
Oh,
What's
God,
a new
Sean.
challenge?
Echo's gone much better. Okay, so yeah, I just turned the input threshold for my mic way down. So hopefully that's going to make things better. But again, keep us posted because, you know, still a little fine tuning that I want to try and get done on this. But everything, let me know what you think. Like, hopefully the video quality is way better too. That was the goal of
It
this.
should be. It looks better.
Nice, okay. And I just got a text from another family member that said we're good. Thank you, Tom. All right, so, what's up, fellas? Tiago! How's it going, buddy?
Oh, Tiago.
Diego? All right, let's
Diego.
move that because it was right in the way of the sponsored by. Wait,
Sponsored by.
it's right there. Proudly sponsored by.
All these dudes.
Yeah, we have a lot of baits to talk about. And it's not necessarily about the baits. This isn't a deep dive into big baits versus traditional. It's more about the approach. To me, there's two very different styles of bass fishing. There is what I consider us to be.
Right.
Traditional anglers.
With a touch of trophy.
With a touch of trophy hunt. But with rare exception, we're the guys that go out and I just want to put fish in the boat. And if I'm having a great day, then I'll turn around and start going for big fish.
Right, because if we go out and we start catching three to 4 pounders,
But that's a damn good day anyway.
that's
but
a damn good day anyway. But like we get onto a couple decent sized fish throughout the day, and we're happy with it, then we'll shut off and we'll just go straight to hammering, grinding, really.
Grinding, right? That's a good way to put it because that is what the trophy hunt is. But 2 years ago, focus changed a little bit. And with everybody coming up with big baits and it becoming more prolific in New England, I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. Started out with the rat, the little baby rat, and that was doing really well first. And then upgraded to the old big rat. Take your Padre?
That's my Padre we're watching. Hey, I got a beer.
Oh.
I'm only going to drink probably all 4 of them. But if I don't, I have 2 you can have.
How's that? How's that for a sultry sound? Oh, hang on. If I can... Nah, I can't. You both... Love that topwater rat bite. So, we... Man, how do we dive into this, like, subtly? Well, let's talk more about that approach from traditional bass fishing.
Let's start with traditional bass fishing.
Well, actually, let's back it up a little bit.
Okay.
We're talking about it from two different perspectives, right? What the hell is traditional bass fishing versus trophy hunting? In your words.
In my words?
In your words. Let's start with you. I know we just kind of did it, but like in elaborating on when you think traditional bass fishing versus like you're just going out there and straight up trophy hunting with big wobbly donkers.
So, traditional bass fishing, I would go out, any normal day, you get up, and just be like, all right, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 2 a.m.
Stay out at 10 a.m., 10 p.m., out until 4 a.m.
That's not traditional bass fishing.
But
But
yeah.
a normal day of fishing, just get up, you want to get up early, you want to go out, you want to catch some fish, and you're throwing anything less than 1 ounce. Entire bait, everything.
And-
I'm guessing under 3/4 ounce.
Well, in
Which-
traditional tackle, depending on the conditions, it could be. Oops, sorry, I bumped the mic.
Jigs, chatterbaits, any bladed jigs, spider jigs,
I would even put this in conventional.
any
tackle.
crankbaits.
That's kind of a hybrid.
Right.
The creep.
The creep, yeah. It was like
6.5, but it's
swim bait.
a light-ish duty swimbait
Yeah.
as far as swimbaits go.
5 years ago, I never would have thrown this thing because I'd be like, this thing is enormous and it's never going to get anything. But now, knowing what I know, yeah, that's smaller baits. Anything really that you purely have confidence, like finesse too, like
What's
would go
anything?
along with traditional fit.
Like really anything that's gonna put fish in the boat. Like,
Yeah.
we go out there to figure out the chess match.
Right.
To me.
Yeah, pretty much. You
That-
figure out what they want, and then you just keep throwing it all day, and you're just putting numbers in the boat. Nothing big. You just want to go out and have a good day of fishing.
Right.
And that's 75% of the fishing we do now.
What's going on, Nick? Who else is here? Tiago, Fishing Mode, Bob, Go-To, Dylan, Ben, Kevin, Richard, everybody. How's it all going? Yeah, dude, like that's it in a nutshell for me too. Is it's about just putting fish in the boat, but you know there's still that added element. Like I'm not just going out there to sling a Senko to put fish in the boat. Like I'm trying to figure out, and I've said this so many times. Every time I go out in the water, it's a new chess match, and they've changed the rules every day. And we're trying to establish what those rules are and how to play the game to put fish in the boat. And my method of how I attack is dictated by how my day is going. That to me is traditional bass fishing. Versus trophy hunting, I am force feeding a bait. A specific bait, a specific technique, a specific style, be it whatever.
A bait that's targeting bigger fish.
Right, like giant. Where's my glide? Oh, ha. Well, I can take both of these up. You know, like this is size 200 glide, I think. Are you kidding me? This happened? This always happens.
250? I thought it was a 250.
This might be the 250.
Should sit on the bottom of it.
No, that's not a 250. No, that's the 200.
200.
So, I mean, then there's like the depth 250, but, you know, that's like a 7-inch bait. That's a 6-inch, like, perch crank down. Like,
What size is this?
you know, like, I'm going, that's an 8-inch Huddleston.
That's
You know, giant, well, relative weight baits. Like, I'm going out there and I'm not fishing the conditions. I'm not fishing the weather patterns. I'm not fishing the pond and the structure available to me. I am force feeding something, looking for that one frickin' mondo to come out of the woodwork.
or a couple of them.
Or a couple of them, which we've had sometimes.
We've definitely had those days.
Yeah. But it's like just two entirely different mentalities, because even on, like, man, how do I word this? There's plenty of days when you're just traditional bass fishing where it still can be a grind, but for the most part, it's not. Sometimes you get lucky and you're just in those conditions where, like, yeah, we've been here before 100 times. I can throw any one of these 5 baits doing these 3 things. We're going to hammer them. And we have ponds that we know we can do that pretty much all year round.
Yeah, depending on the weather and how other ponds are biting, we know other ponds that will bite better or
Right.
worse. Then we stay away from those.
Yeah.
And then, what was I going to say? I had something I was going to say, but I forgot.
Figured out. Wow, look at the chat.
I don't know. Still on.
Linda Binda. How's it going, buddy? Move my little closer. Sorry.
Trophy fishing, on the other hand,
Oh, God, that was probably really loud. I'm sorry.
is you are out there, in my opinion, you're going out with one, maybe, like traditional bass fishing, you'll go out with all your rods, every rod you have.
All 14 of them up on the wall, tied up, ready to go. Out on the deck.
And but when you're going out trophy fishing, you want that stout rod, you want your biggest rod, or 2 rods, or sometimes maybe you have 3 of them. But not every normal human being has $300 to $400 rod that's meant to throw a 5-ounce swim bait or 6-ounce swim bait. That to me is trophy hunting, when you're going out and you're just bringing all your heavy gear and you have between 1 and 3 rods, and you're grinding 1 to 3 baits and going out at night, really.
Right.
Right, and spending from, I mean, we've gone from 3 in the afternoon to 4 in the morning. And that night we didn't really get too many big fish.
No, and we've actually had split trips too, where we've gone out, like, let's just go out kind of earlier than we originally anticipated or planned to, and see what we can get into for just numbers. And then, you know, once it gets to like that magical last hour of daylight when the bite really turns on, let's go into trophy hunting mode.
Yeah. Like we've gone out in the morning. Well, I've gone out in the morning, and then you can't make it out till later in the day, so I go out in the morning, I get off the water, I go get lunch and whatever, and then I go to the store, get a bunch of snacks, because I know I'm going out all night with him.
Yep.
And we grind it out, throwing. I love this. This is like what I throw.
That's what I was throwing with you, and then I started finding some other things. Like I like throwing a buzzbait still too, even though it really isn't considered
sick.
That
was cool.
You know, kind of quote unquote like big fish lure. It's a big fish lure at night. It is severely underrated because the whopper plopper kind of took over on popularity. Whopper plopper still kills it at night.
Oh yeah.
But for big fish, but like for me, like that buzzbait, even though it is essentially a spinnerbait, but instead of 2 blades, it's just 1 prop blade. That
fishermen, we're not known.
is generally a big fish bait. Man, that thing just, I mean, you can catch plenty of rats on it too, but at night, that thing is just killer for quality fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy, Blinda, check out the channel when you get a chance later after this and look at one of our recent videos.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 2 videos ago. And we went down, we did some winter holdover striper fishing. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So, all right, we've kind of elaborated on like the many varieties of our thought processes. What differentiates between traditional bass fishing and trophy hunting. Before we go any further, we're not bashing anything. There's nothing wrong with either one. I just feel it requires 2 entirely different mindsets. And that's kind of what I want to go over. Like, at what point do we decide traditional is fun and this is what we always do, and we'll always, with the exception of last year where it kind of started changing, like we've always gone out like we're gonna put fish in the boat, and then and only then after a good morning do we start thinking like outside of the box, like okay, what can I do differently for that bigger fish? Yeah. And that's really what I want to talk about. First, like kind of going over everything from our traditional bass fishing approach, because everybody has their own methods. Ours are probably similar to a lot of people. It's fairly traditional to a sense. It's not just traditional bass tackle. It's a pretty methodical approach to how we go about breaking down water. Yeah. And then at what point do we decide, okay, let's go, for bigger fish, or what conditions come up that we're like, dude, it's big fish hunting time. Yeah. Let's grind it out.
Yeah, like overcast, like a little bit of wind.
Yeah.
A little bit of wind.
And then it's on. And
then it's like 18 pounds of 4-pounders. Live well.
Tiago knows what's up. Big fish bite on a big bait. Damn right. Fishing mode absolutely knows what's up when it comes to the buzz bait. Yeah, Richard, we're not normal at all.
Not even a little bit.
All right, so let's talk more about our mindset, our method for when it comes to traditional hunting. And the idea behind this stream tonight is I want people to be a little bit more interactive. Like, as you can tell, we're already keeping up with the chat. So as we're saying things, if there's anything you want to elaborate on, you've got a question about it, hit it. We're going to keep circling back to this because I want to elaborate on this. It's really about method, I think is the best way to put if you had to pick one overall theme for tonight's stream. We're talking about our methods.
Yep.
The whys and hows of what we do and every time we go out in the water.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much the same story every time we go out. We have a game plan, and if it doesn't work out like it usually doesn't, we figure them out. So we're always throwing different baits. Like I'll always start with a jig. If we're working structure, I'll always start with a jig, and you'll like throw, say if it's windy out, I'll still throw the jig, and he'll start with the spinnerbait. Like
if it's anything pre-spawn,
right.
Anytime pre-spawn, plus 40 degrees to 70 degrees, I'm throwing it.
Yep.
Especially when the conditions are good for it, I'm throwing it. And that's sorry, go ahead.
From 38 degrees, 38 and a half degrees.
From like the end of March until July.
I'm throwing this. Every time. I will always start with a jig unless I know where I'm going and the conditions and what I know the fish should be doing.
Pendog, that is an excellent question that we'll segue towards. And that question actually can be answered not just for big bass, but for traditional, our traditional approach. Tagging on to what you just said, he's absolutely right. That's what we do. Like, all right, to give a perfectly hypothetical but specific situation, more in line too close to what we're coming up towards. Early spring, water temps mid 40s. We've been at the tail end of a warming trend. for the most part, I can only fish on Sundays, just because of family life, work schedule, my wife's work schedule, the whole 9 yards. So that is both a blessing and a curse in that I've only got the one day to focus on. So I get to watch all the weather leading up to Sunday. Sorry, I bumped the mic again. And then kind of make a decision based on that. And if I at least got out once before, earlier in the week, or if I had a friend that went by somewhere relatively close or to the same pond, get an idea for water temp. And now I'm playing the weather game. What has it been doing all week, but especially the last 3 days leading up to that? That is point number one. That's my guiding force as to what it is I'm thinking about tying on, and then from there, what ponds are ideally suited for what's going on. Because especially early in the year, wind direction plays a huge impact on where these fish are going to line up and how they're going to be feasting.
Weather is the deciding factor.
Yep, number one.
In every case, it's always the deciding factor.
How many times have we had an idea for a lake that, like, okay, water temp and the weather leading up to it, yeah, and then weather for that day, like everything's looking good, and then last minute we find out the wind direction is not going to be what we thought.
It's completely 180 from what we thought.
Yep. Or way harder than we thought it was going to be. Or none at all.
Oh yeah, or it's supposed to blow 15 today. Oh, get up there, it's glass. Man!
Right. Or, well, unless we're on places like glacial lakes, like Wind Lakes region, and then it's glass, and it's 50 degrees, we're like, crap!
Yeah, now what?
Died.
Go deep.
Yeah, so we're, it's trying to make sure I kind of get these into coherent thoughts, and I feel like I'm struggling, so bear with me here. For that specific scenario where we're talking like weather leading up to and stuff, that's going to dictate my, what am I doing here?
What?
Everything. I feel like I'm having a really hard time keeping this conversation going. I apologize.
Oh.
Man, when it comes to traditional, when it's so specific. Let me stick to what I was just talking about. All right, kettle pond. Oh, there it goes. All right, hang on one second. The webcam kicked out.
Hold on.
There's an auto shut-off feature on it that.
I'm able to start live. Just wait for camera to cool. It's hot.
We might be down now. Hang on, everybody. Hold tight. We have a situation with the camera. Yeah, but this is done. Okay, you're good.
You got it?
Yeah.
Live?
Yeah, it's still live. Sorry about that, guys. There's an auto shut-off feature.
That's annoying.
Shut that door, please. Oh, I just came down to tell me that. Apparently, I'm still very ugly. That was weird. Trying to start the party. They're gone. No, we're still here.
They're gone.
Hey, look better all of a sudden. Screw you, Bob!
Thanks.
Apparently, I'm still really angry.
Okay, good. All right, let's scroll up and see what these guys, because you guys are asking a bunch of good questions.
Let me try and start picking out some things. Who was it? I already forgot his name. I'm so sorry. Who was it that asked about? It was Pen Dog.
How about
Location. Let me finish that thought. Regardless of what I'm doing, I keep wanting to talk about traditional bass fishing, but it's everything, depending on the time of the year. Like, how did my last 2 trips go? What is the weather currently lining up to do for this weekend? And what am I looking at for available opportunities for the following weekends after that? All of that plays into where am I going to go? And am I going traditional or am I going trophy hunting? I can tell you right now, like the first 5 trips of the year that I'm going out, I'm going bass fishing, dude. I would love to go out and have the spring like I did this year, where I stuck a 4 or a 5, like every trip for the first 8 trips out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was sick.
But that's not gonna happen. I just got lucky. I'm going out there, dude. I just want to swing for the fences. I want to go hammer on a bunch of fish. I don't care what size they are. So I'm going out with the most traditional things I know work, a la a spider jig and a football jig, lipless bait, crankbait. Chatterbait if the water is decently warm in some shallow back pockets, although like first 2 or 3 weeks out, you're really pushing it. Jerkbait. And I just want to feel a fish bite, you know? It's already at this point going to be, actually it's a really short year, but typically it's like 8 to 12 weeks, well actually no, like 12 to 13, 14 weeks in between the last trip and the first trip. So I'm just going out straight up traditional bass fishing hunting. Like I just want to put fish in the boat, so I'm going to go with my highest chance, highest probability, highest percentage, whatever you want to put it, presentations that are going to put fish in the boat. Now when we're talking a couple weeks after that, you're still tin can type sound. I'm so sorry. I can only do so much about the mics, I'm sorry. After we've got a few fish in the boat, now, like, again, it really comes back to weather playing a huge factor. And, like, what do I want to do? Like, if we started the season out with a couple of really good jig days, then maybe I want to go somewhere and, like, really kind of crack on a jerkbait. Or, you know, we're 5 or 6 trips in and weather's starting to look pretty good. All of a sudden, the weight bait bite ain't looking too shabby.
Which starts to turn into trophy hunting.
Right, and then now we're going to really change up, like, how do I do things? And then for us, too, like, it's a big question of do it largemouth or smallmouth? And, like, we're lucky that we're in Milford. We're within 3 hours of literally anything you can think of. Mm-hmm. Anything you can imagine for any water body type, structure, trophy smallmouth, trophy largemouth, dink city for either one, like, depending on what you want to do, man, like, we've got options.
You want to go put 100 smallies in your boat and they're small, like real small? We got a lot of those places.
Yeah.
You want to go put a 4+ smallie in the boat? We got a few of those places. You want to go put a 7.5 pound?
We got a few of those places.
We got a few of those places.
I've seen them. You caught them. I've only caught one on Stupid Winnipesaukee.
Yeah, they're...
I can't talk smack about that. Like, he gave me a 5 1/4 and that 7 1/4 this year.
I hate that league. Even though
you got 2 5s at me. We went twice. We both caught big fish. We're like sucks.
This place is terrible. Garbage.
Yeah, my so like going back to his question about when you're thinking about picking a lake trophy wise. Like, we're trophy hunting. Like what makes you decide what lake we want to go to?
I always look for something that has structure that I would normally fish, traditional fishing, but has a flat within range from that. So like if there's a lake that I usually fish that has a bunch of boulders in it, and then there's a big flat, like a flat from like, I don't know, 4 to 9 feet, I would go out and I would just grind that flat the entire time. I mean, there are some times where I'll go along and I'll throw this up under trees at night. I don't want to get this thing stuck in a tree. I know it's not the most expensive big bait. It's only like $30 now. But I still want to get rid of this thing. I still want to catch fish on it. So I don't know. I don't like throwing big expensive baits into trees and losing them. Or against docks.
Oh yeah, docks. You and docks.
But those just the same normal, like, if you're gonna be throwing a jig at it, that's how I look at it. If I throw a jig at it, I'm gonna fish it with a big bait, and that's what I like to target. That and big open flats with grass. Lots of grass.
We had really, really good luck this past spring targeting exactly that. Those big flats with a lot of vegetation either on them or nearby. And especially if they had big, open, like hard bottom patches in between everything. Mm-hmm. Whether that be literal just that, hard bottom open patches, or just giant boulders that broke up that vegetation.
Or the areas where beaver dams are, like beaver huts are, where the channels are, they cut out, they hang out in that. They will sit right in that. They'll sit underneath the beaver hut all day long in the hot sun. As soon as that sun starts to go down, they crawl right out of there and they spread and hang out right in that area.
Yeah. Pen Dog asked again. You move it closer. Oh, I can move it super close. Sorry, I'm trying to troubleshoot mic issues on the fly again as well. I think I know what the problem is. I wonder if I pull my hand back here. It's a slightly different mic, so it's giving me a little headache. But crap, what was I just saying? We were talking about working the flats and the beaver huts.
Right. And you were saying big grass patches up on
that
that 4 day.
flats that are adjacent to the deeper water, but provide that like easy access shallow cover. Like that has been. If we can find places like that, like we know a few lakes that have those kind of conditions set up perfectly, and those are the places that come to mind when we start thinking like straight up trophy hunting. And we're very fortunate that there's a handful of lakes relatively local to us, like 45 minutes to an hour, that we can go hit those. Not too many much closer than that. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
No, not really.
But that's kind of what we're looking for. To elaborate, Pen Dog. I'll let you start on that.
What was his?
I know you mentioned force feeding a big bait. What about upsizing a big bait when you're on a good conventional bite? So they're chewing a jerk bait. Would you pick up a glide to target quality? That's an excellent question.
I have done that. And funny thing is, I did get bit on the glide, but it was the second fish I've ever got bit on that thing, and I didn't know what the hell to do. So I sent it about 30 feet in the air.
Was that down when we were in Mass that day?
No, that was... What the hell was that? That was a reservoir. Up past home base. You weren't there.
Oh, okay.
This was me and Keith on my boat.
Okay. Unimportant in the grand scheme of things, but...
Yeah. But I have done that, and like a jig, like I will, like if I'm throwing a jig, same thing. Like if I have, like, was this a super chunk?
Yeah. Which, I mean, you could say it as just like any mid-range size trailer.
Right.
Is typically what we fish, like a 3.5-inch-ish trailer.
Probably not going to zoom focus on it, but...
No, but...
If they're biting this, they're going to bite something bigger. I'll throw a full-size trailer on there.
Like a 5-inch
Yeah.
crawl. And I've got some good-looking 5-inch trailers.
Right. But yeah, I will absolutely upsize. That's the name of the game sometimes.
Yeah.
You just got to do it.
And then, so expanding on that...
Chewing jerk bait.
Yeah, it really depends on what it is I'm throwing. Like, okay, so what did you say specifically? Yeah, they're chewing really good on a jerkbait. What would I throw? I have tried throwing a glide. It really hasn't worked out for me. What I have tried is a bigger cranking bait of some kind. Typically a square bill. Something I can move a little bit faster. It's got a fatter profile and a little bit more of a quote-unquote violent wobble to it. So it just... to me, presents bigger. One of the things I picked up recently, it's kind of like a glide, but not really. And I had it in mind for that. And, it's this. It's still like kind of a swim bait. And it's got like a really gnarly wobble to it when you're swimming it back. But it's like a 4-inch sunfish that is maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches tall. So like it's big, certainly compared to a jerkbait, but it's not huge. But like that's kind of that next step up where like maybe I'm not necessarily force feeding it, but I'm kind of hopeful for it. Specifically this last year when I've got on a really good moving bait, like traditional or conventional moving bait bite, I've gone to the DEFCON because this thing goes down about 1 foot at a really steady, slow crawl. So for me, that's like a really easy transition from, okay, they're hammering a jerkbait, or maybe even a square bill. Sometimes, I can go to this where if I crawl it, it's got a pretty slow rate, float rate to it, how fast it comes back up to the top. So I can work something like that, and I'm still kind of in that same range where the fish are. So that's kind of where my brain goes, especially last year, where if I'm having a great day doing something, then those are the kind of things I look for. But if I'm really focused on like, okay, they're aggressive, they're hitting, and I'm gonna start grinding something for a big bite, the rat was what I had been picking up a lot.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more difficult going from a moving bait or something like that, like jerk bait, up to that, but still works sometimes. And then it's conventional, but God, these things kicked out so many big fish for me.
I know.
I'll go to a bulkier presenting bait. It's not what I would consider a jackhammer to be a big bait that I'm forcing, but I'm finding that middle of the road.
Sometimes you are though. Like when the sun's just starting to set.
Mm-hmm.
These chatterbaits, bladed jigs, they get hammered, absolutely demolished. Whether it's 0 wind or it's blowing 30, these things get hammered.
So, continue with Pen Dog's additional question. In related to that, I do want to get to Tiago's point. It depends, but I would say more often than not, it's a mindset.
I think it is.
Because we just haven't done it enough.
Right.
I mean,
we have, but we haven't
Not
grinded
like
like some people we know that go
Right,
out and that's
that
all they throw.
throw
And they're
this.
really good at it.
and they're throwing a size 200 or even a 250 glide, where they're throwing an 8-inch HUD. I bought some new glide bait. Let me take one of those out. I want to show one of those things
They're
off.
sweet.
What did I just almost kick over on my feet? Ah, take up the perch. I picked up some more baits like. Show off that new one from MD Swimbait.
Yeah.
I just literally got this yesterday. You know, like that's a wake and crank.
So yeah.
And it's not long, but I mean, look at the girth
Drink.
on that. I stabbed myself so bad on that thing this morning.
Oh, I'm gonna get COVID.
Not the only thing you're gonna get. You know, now I'm trying to look at things like this. You know, I got a 7.5-inch glide that I want to start throwing a lot more of. Like that's what I'm trying to move towards for force feeding stuff. But it is a totally different mindset. You know, for most of the time when I'm fishing these things, where I want to really go for those bigger bites and I'm gonna commit to it. It's different. Tiago, I'm huge on angles and boat position. My thoughts on that is I wholeheartedly agree and I do the best I can, but depending on what the wind's doing and if I'm fishing with Andrew or somebody else, which is like 98% of the time, it's hard to really work those perfect angles to make the most of things.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to cast with something, it's like, yeah, go for it.
Right, and then we usually take
get
turns.
into position, and fire them right in there. You'd be burping at me today.
I just swung it that way, I'm sorry. Downside drink of a beer. No, it's not Mad River Reservoir. I've actually never been there. Big wake swimbait, when you throw...
Those empty gills are money.
Oh, Penn, that's what I want to hear. I've been watching a lot of his baits, and I kept missing bait drops, and thankfully I was able to get on this. Thank you, MD, for hooking it up. He gave me the lowdown that it was going down, and I was able to get one before they sold out, and it was great because they sold out stupid fast like always, and I'm not surprised because it looks friggin' phenomenal. Big weight swim bait. When do you throw this? It's called or top of the water.
Big wake swim bait. I would.
Yes.
So.
When do I throw it? Yes.
Yes. You can literally throw it all day long if you really wanted to.
Yeah, and we found that out just from forcing it some days.
Yeah.
Because we got lucky and I got onto a good bite with it pretty early. And I was like, dude, I've just been doing this and it's been killing it. We just kind of kept expanding on it and we realized, like, oh, holy shit, this thing works like all day.
Yeah, and I had that day at that pond, like 30 minutes from here.
Mm-hmm.
And I randomly picked up. What did I pick up? I picked up this, but it's the white one.
The one you got from Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gave me that, and I just saw it, and I was catching fish. I was literally catching fish on Senkos. I was just desperate. And I picked that up, the first or second cast with it. It was overcast with a little bit of wind, and they weren't biting anything for some reason. And you can go to this place and you can catch 30, 40 fish if you really want to, if you want to stay that long. And I picked this thing up.
It's this bullshit bull
cast. Bullshit bull wake, yeah.
Camera kicked out again.
And the camera kicked out again. But you can still hear me. It blew up on it. And it was like the middle of the day and I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay, I guess I'm throwing this for the rest of the day. Hold on, give us a second to get this camera working again.
How did you do that?
I just hit live view. Oh, it's all skirty. Hold up. Hold on.
It's overheating really bad.
It's overheating.
Yep.
Shoot. Camera's overheating. John, your camera's a piece of crap. Should have bought a Canon.
1 minute, we're gonna figure it out again. Interesting. Here it is.
Okay, we're back.
Not yet.
Almost back. Un momento, por favor.
Now we're back. Sorry, guys. It's probably be a short night.
Yeah, we'll get the camera situation figured out for next week.
See, I try to make things better, and ultimately, in the end, it just makes things worse. Oh,
He's
well,
okay.
that's on me.
He's okay.
It was worth a shot. It looks good when it's working.
Yeah.
Maybe I actually set up like a fan on that thing. Okay, but so you were talking about what made you decide to throw the weight. Like we were talking about conditions that we felt made it really good.
Yeah, well, I didn't really know anything about it at the time, and it was overcast and a little bit of windy. So I picked up the bull wake and I threw that, and it got hit. So then, I think it was like a week later, I had like the same situation happen, and I looked at it, I'm like, So I picked it up. First cast up next to a rock, I got smoked by like a 3.5 pounder. I'm like, okay, this is a thing. This happens. So after that, I would start throwing it more in the day because I would specifically go out at night to throw wake baits just because it's just fun. You're dead quiet and you hear just from like 100 feet away. Oh man, it's awesome.
Go ahead and keep talking. I'm actually gonna get a fan and throw this on this.
But
keep it going.
put a fan blowing on it. Oh, that's literally what they're saying. Where do I want to go with that? We're still. I have a big swim bait. Throwing chocolate water. But yeah, at night. Pretty much any. Do I want to go into night fishing yet? I mean, because I do a lot of trophy fishing at night.
Well, so one of the things, hopefully you guys can't hear me, I'm sorry, I'm sitting behind this, I'm going to set this fan up. One of the things that they talked about, or that we really started talking about too, was like what drives us to go conventional first. But what we really haven't touched upon is like what conditions do we start coming up on where we're like, you know what, dude, screw it, it's time to go force feed some big baits. Like what are we doing when we were like, yep, it is ideal to go chuck nothing but big baits tonight.
Like,
or this afternoon, this morning, whatever. Most of it has been
like the pressure dropping and all that stuff, and yeah, like you got the barometric pressure and the thing is tanking, and you get like this nice couple days where it's a little overcast and it's raining. You got all that fresh water coming in into the lake, into the small pond or wherever you're fishing, and that's pretty much when it just clicks and we're just like, okay, we're gonna go for big fish today, or this week, or the next 3 days, or the next 10 days, or 14 days. Just trying to find that one big fish. We will go out and we will grind these big baits. And I don't understand how some of these big bait kids do it. Oh man. I couldn't do it like that. They're out there all year long throwing these baits, and they catch big fish too. They kill it. But some days I just want to go catch some fish, which you gotta go back to traditional fishing. Chatterbaits, whipless cranks, jigs, always jigs. Actually, I had a question on here. My favorite, what is it? Go-to jig. Sean Miller, thank you. I just read your comment from earlier. Andrew, you sound beautiful. Jig, where was it?
Oh, I had one of your jigs.
I think it was a go-to jigs. I think that's what the question was.
What did I do with your jig?
Can't get it up.
I was about to slide back on screen and I realized I thought I had one of your jigs over here still.
I left it here, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think I took it home.
I mean, it's that, but that's not really it. I don't think that's a Gordo.
No, that's not. That's a strike in. But jig, my favorite jig. I love Gordy's custom jigs. He just does them right. They're solid. They got Gamakatsu hooks in them, and you can beat the hell out of them. They don't fall apart. And I beat the hell out of my jigs. I think that's probably I usually go 3/8 to ½ ounce is in black and blue. Well, I throw black and blue all year, and it works all year. What's your favorite jig?
Depends on where we're fishing and what we're fishing.
True.
For structure. Either way, I'm going Beast Coast because I only like fishing tungsten now. There's quite a few non-lead versions that I've tried. They're all right, but I like tungsten. I like being able to tell the difference between that's sand, that's stick, that's a rock, back to sand, that's mud, I'm in the weeds. Like, I can tell all of that when I'm fishing tungsten, which is why I can't go away from it. So everything I fish is now Beast Coast. Same deal. Either more often than not, just straight up 3/8 ounce, like half ounce. But sometimes they go to 3/4 ounce. And either arky head or football jig. I prefer football unless I'm fishing any sort of vegetation. In which case I go to the arky, which is kind of like jack of all trades jig.
It's pretty much that.
Pretty close. I wish I had one out. I don't. I have nothing but footballs out. Like I got this Green Pumpkin Pro football. But
pretty much this, just a more slender profile, and so it can go down through all the grass and everything instead of like a football jig
that likes to grab everything.
Yeah, it just grabs everything.
Hammer time. No, it's not a UV painted wake. It is just, in this case, just a custom gill color from EOD Swimbaits, EOD Paints. He's on Instagram. He was one of several guys for all the 2020 fishing expos that painted a bunch of baits, not just the gill wakes, but some of the glides and stuff for Buka, bullshad baits. They had this one that just looked good. I wanted something very bluegilly, and that was like the more natural one, so I snagged that. They were only doing them for the expos at the time. I'm not sure if he's doing anything differently now moving forward. Swagger Tungsten is good, Kevin. I've bought a ton of stuff from them when I can't get what I want from Beast Coast. We have stock and I need something, I can't wait. Swagger's usually my go-to because it works fine. I really don't care about the paint. Like, I prefer the paint holds up, but I don't really need it to for a lot of things that I do. So, I go with the cheapest tungsten I can find, and Swagger has been good. So that's what I go with from there. So you just touched upon what you were looking for when you're going big bait grinding, right? Because that's the thing I didn't get to talk to you about from my perspective.
You can go. I just like to go pretty much anywhere where I know there's a healthy population of fish, and throw the biggest bait possible for as long as you possibly can stand before your wrist breaks or your boat breaks or you run into a stump.
Yeah. And
that was scary that night. 1,000 stumps.
I'm looking forward to going back there, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Even though we didn't catch anything that night.
No. That was sweet, though.
Yeah.
What was that Andrew's big pink one? Oh, no, that's just...
what are you talking about?
That's mine, this thing. That's just the Spro...
BBZ
yeah, Spro
one.
BBZ Rat 50 size. And that's just that Morning Dawn?
I think it's Morning Dawn.
Something like that?
Something like that.
There was another very not PC name that someone else named it that is absolutely spot on. I can't say it.
You ain't wrong.
Accurate.
It is. And they choke it.
So, to elaborate on, and just in case I didn't finish up my previous thoughts earlier, when I'm going traditional bass fishing, first thing of the year, if I've got my butt kicked the last few times out, or depending on what I have for time. Some days we got things going on family-wise that, only like 4, maybe 5 hours to fish, then screw that, dude. I'm going to a couple of small ponds I know where I go crack 51-pounders and call it a day. I'm never going to go trophy hunting in a situation like that because I like to put fish in the boat more than anything. If I've had like 2, 3, 4 really good trips as far as numbers go, even if I've had a couple of good quality bites in that mix, like if I've got a good thing going, I'll carry that confidence momentum, and then I'm going straight up trophy hunting, which is going to be like that window of opportunity this year for me is so much bigger because I bought so many new baits versus last year. And definitely the year before, I didn't have that many different baits that I could confidently go out and grind with for big bites. So I'm waiting for the right opportunity of both. I've had great success last few trips out. The timing, I'm not limited on where or when I can go, and the weather conditions are lining up perfect. Like, okay, we've had a pretty good warming trend.
Wife doesn't care that you stay out all night.
Right, wife doesn't care where I'm at. I don't have to be anywhere tomorrow. I have to be up early, or, yeah, you know what? The more I think of it, and almost all of our big fish hunting has been done in the evening. There's been very rare times where we've done it really in the morning, and there's a reason for that. Most primarily because bigger fish have been proven to feed at night versus in the morning. Your window of opportunity just continues to grow and grow and grow the later into the day you go, versus shrink and disappear early morning into late morning.
Right.
And a lot of that too is opportunity dependent, you know? Like, we've gone to a couple places where I'm like, yeah, dude, we should be able to grind out a big bait bite here, and we find out there's already a couple other guys in the area, we just can't fish it the way we feel we need to. We're like, all right, screw it, go back to traditional hunting.
Right.
So even like spot to spot, it can be really dependent upon what's going on.
Yeah. What we got? Women's elevator music. Dude, chill out.
Yeah, I gotta find. What's up, Jason? I gotta find a few more songs to throw into the rotation. I tried to find something fairly mellow, but not too mellow, and kind of low key that I could just keep on repeat. No lyrics, no singing, just straight up instrumental. But I don't want it to be distracting. I just want to provide like a nice, calm, even little hum in the background.
By the way, night fishing in the rain sucks.
Let's elaborate on that. We've done.
Which time?
Well, just night fishing in general. For those that have followed me for a long time, know I made some memes that were pretty much specifically against a couple of people. That, whatever. You're stupid, I made mistakes. I don't hate night fishing, I never have. I night fished, like that's all I did for years. 20 years ago when I just had a John boat. I go to some of my favorite places that I hated fishing with like 30 other boats with during the day, and I fished at night. And I'd kill it working a jig or Texas rig baits across these sandy beaches. And then later figure out that, oh man, if you work a deep diving crankbait in really shallow water up at night, like around shells, they'll crush it because it's a deep diver, so you don't have to work hard to get it to slam into the bottom, and that thing is just digging across as it's diving in and stuff. And I used to kill it night fishing. But going back to the other point too, bigger fish feed at night.
They do.
That is a proven fact. That is a long-standing proven fact.
We have video proof.
So, a lot of our like just straight grinding, dude, we're going for big baits have been at night. And we've gone in some pretty ugly situations at night.
At night, yeah.
30% chance of rain.
Well, it's 100% raining right now. We're gonna get drenched. No, what? Slight breeze to 5 miles an hour. It's blowing 40.
Yeah,
Jesus.
And we've been out in some bad conditions.
Rushing to get the boat out of the water.
But my God, has it paid off in some instances?
It paid off about 5 minutes before it started raining.
Yep. God, remember that one big bite I missed too? It sounded like a beaver tail slapping it, but there wasn't no beaver.
Yeah, remember that beaver I thought I hooked into, but it was actually a bass?
Yep.
I'm gonna tear up right now.
That was bad. It's okay, you get this.
I don't think I will.
No, you're right, I will.
No, I probably won't.
Just gonna set it up. What else could we elaborate on? What else you got for the chat? Like, I'm trying to think.
I want to answer questions.
Yeah.
Like, we spent all this time talking, and I mean, we spent, Jesus, between us, 30-something years of fishing.
Yep.
And we want to, the people that don't fish that often want to know stuff. We want to help you guys. Like, this isn't just to like brag and all this. Like, if you guys have real questions, like, we want to be here to answer them.
Yeah, and I'll take the blame on this one because I said this at the beginning of the stream, but I should have said it when we were posting this everywhere. I wanted this to be a much more interactive thing because this is like both a simple and loaded topic. There's only so much we can talk about on it, and I figured it was going to take us about an hour to an hour and a half if we just had to carry it ourselves. Because there's only really so much you can elaborate on unless you're talking specific scenarios. You start throwing specific scenarios at me, I'll be here for hours.
We'll be here till 2 in the morning. Sorry, Dad. Come over tomorrow.
So, in that vein of like traditional bass fishing, I'm just going out and I want to figure out the chess match. What are the rules today to put fish in the boat versus I am going out with an 8-inch Huddleston and I want to catch a 6 today. I don't care if I go home skunked for the next 3 weeks, 3 months, whatever. I'm looking for a 6, a 7, or even an 8, and I can say an 8 because I know 2 guys that caught 8-pounders one day apart. One of them was on big bait like this. I can't really say what it was. I just know it was a really, really big bait. and he was working. He was grinding. He went out and had a couple good days, and it was exactly that. Early spring, already caught a couple of big fish, some 4s, 5s. I think he even had 6. And then he's like, "Screw this! I'm busting out the big boy," and he grinded, and it paid off.
Jeez, I don't understand how those guys do that. I do it once in a while, but not all the time like that.
Yeah. Donk Swampy, what percentage of big bass do you think are offshore? Dude, that's yeah. A lot of our biggest fish come off the bank.
Off the bank.
Not like off of it, like off of it, out away from the bank.
Yeah. I mean, just even like the last, I don't know,
last 2 years.
Vermont Brownie Factory. That last like 2 weeks, we were fishing 50 feet of water.
Like 300 feet from shore.
Yeah. Because it was a
not even, actually, in some cases.
Sometimes we were like 50 feet from shore in 40 feet of water.
Yeah, fishing super steep, deep water.
Yeah.
But this is...
Technically, we were trophy fishing, even though we were using a bait about that big.
A 3-inch bait. We were trophy hunting.
Right.
Finesse style.
So there are different types of trophy hunting. Like if you know that there's big fish in this area, and you know what they should eat, and the conditions you should be fishing in. That's another thing. Like sometimes in some ponds, you got a video of it. That right there. That is a trophy bait.
I had that up.
Any of these can be trophy baits, though. That's the thing.
Right. A lot of it
all depends on the situation.
It's funny. The more I think about what we have done for trophy fishing so far, we've only had a handful, I'll say like a half dozen to a dozen days where we've truly gone out and grinded. And most recent scenario I can think of for that, that really sticks out would have been
the 6 1/4 you caught.
Where the hell was that?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, there was that, but that was different. I'm thinking like 4th of July.
Yeah.
That almost counts, but like we specifically went out to a lake. Conditions lined up right. It was supposed to be full moon, middle of the summer, very, very light breeze, and just like beautifully warm conditions. Like not hot. The lightest breeze is going to keep all the condensation off us as it got darker. Like, it was a win-win scenario. So we went out, and dude, I lived by this and this. 2 baits. But we got out because my wife got home earlier than I thought she was gonna. So we were supposed to just go straight up at night, and those are the only... Drink.
Shit. I'm kind of hurt, actually.
Easy, buddy. We were only supposed to go out at night and work those baits, but then my wife, like, I had the opportunity to go out earlier. So we went out at, like, 4 o'clock, and we had a great day of absolutely hammering fish on shaky head.
We caught, like, 40 fish before the sun went down.
Yep, and then after that point, we stuck out till 2:30 in the morning.
That was the night we were there till, like, 4.
Yeah, so we went 6+ hours, almost 7 hours, just straight grinding those big baits. And we caught 2 fish.
No, we caught a bunch of fish.
I didn't catch that many. You did. You caught more on the rat, and I even tried to throw the rat for a little bit to try and replicate your success. But I was living and dying by that wake and that perch.
There was like 4 hours where we didn't get a sniff.
Yeah, that was
like,
brutal.
And at night, when you don't get sniffed after 45 minutes. Sometimes. I mean, there is a question I see in there that's gonna answer that. But, like, what do you say? Night fish, do you get a flurry of strikes right when it gets dark?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, that last
Absolutely.
hour. Last hour of daylight, and then, like, right at full dark. Like, there's, like, a 20 to 30 minute window where it goes, like, that dying light till full dark.
It's just usually munching time.
No, that narrow window is where it dies.
Yeah, it dies. And
but
then
the hour leading up to that window, it's insane.
Right. I don't know, right after dark, I usually get like the last few bites of that, and they're usually bigger fish. And then you can go
like another hour or two before it transitions,
and then they start hitting again. But you got to remember, you're throwing a 5-ounce bait hundreds of times.
Yep, and
your
working
arm
it
gets tired
painfully slowly too in a lot of cases.
Right.
We're not burning these things.
No.
Ooh, Kotu. I want to come back to that. That's actually kind of one small part of a whole different series I want to do one day for this stream.
Oh,
It's about picking out specific spots. But I will touch upon that lightly because it's just a good question in general. Jonathan, you guys find it? Oh, that was the question you just answered. I feel like I missed one. Yeah, Panda, sorry about the echo. It's we're trying to work through it. Yeah, fishing mode, you're a true shallow water warrior, man. You know how to get up in there and get shallow and catch them. I like fishing everywhere. I grew up doing that, beating the piss out of the bank and specifically targeting structure, stuff that I can see, logs, trees, vegetation, be it whatever. And only like 10 years ago to really start pulling away from that off the bank because I thought I knew a thing or two, fishing a club. Realized I didn't even know a quarter of a thing or two. And got my teeth kicked in trying to fish deep water, and it's just a different animal. But so since then, I peeled back off the bank, and now I try and fish a bit of everything.
Yeah, I think we've gotten pretty good at fishing deep water.
Yes, we have. Speaking of which, hammer time. Favorite jig heads for Kitex
Style.
Yeah, Kitex style baits. It depends on what we're doing. In general, football jig I like better than anything, but I will go with a ball jig. And anywhere from 1/8 of an ounce to 3/4 of an ounce. And anywhere from a 1/0 hook to a 4/0 hook. Dude, it depends on what style of Kitex.
Yeah, I mean, you could have 6.8 on a 1 ounce head.
We fish them all. We fish the 2.8, the 3, the 3.3, the 3.8, the 4.3, the 4.8, the 5. No, there's a 5, isn't there?
Yeah, I think it's 5.
4.3, 4.8, there's a 5 something, and then I even have some 6.8s.
And then don't they have a 7 something and 8?
6.8. Which, grand scheme of things, compared to that perch,
right,
is basically the same thing, just minus the girth. So it's got a crazy wide wallet to it. Belly weighted hooks if I'm fishing certain ones, certain structure, if I'm like really up in the grass. That's pretty much it. But if I had to pick one, like 3/8 ounce football jig, and I can do pretty much anything I want with that. Swim it, drag it, whatever.
7.8, yeah. The best man.
There is a 7.8.
Yep.
Of course.
That's what it was.
Mr. California boy would know that.
Almost always a half spinner with a Colorado.
Yeah, Jason. So I used to do that.
Yeah,
You go.
I have had luck with that. And I was throwing chatterbait one night, and I was getting hammered. Like I was ripping it in. Like I put it on my jig rod with a 7.3, and I was doing this with it. Like I was ripping it, and I was getting hammered. This was that round.
Yep.
But we were also catching. We had already caught like 25 fish on the chatterbait, so not sure if we had them fired up or not. No, but
Kettlehead sponsor us. Sorry, go ahead.
Kettlehead sponsors. So then I had a spinnerbait, so I threw it on, and it was actually a glow-in-the-dark spinnerbait, which is, I saw it and I was like, gotta have it. So I threw it on, I put my phone flashlight on it for about 2 minutes, threw it out, first cast, it got demolished by, I think it was just about 4 pounds. And I really haven't thrown spinnerbait that much at night. I don't know why I haven't, but it does work. It definitely does. I just enjoy this bite more at night.
I like topwater more at night.
I do. I love the explosion.
It's a little bit more reliable, and that's kind of why I fell away from the spinnerbait. When I first started expanding out, like so again, I've been night fishing for 20 plus years, and there was a pretty big gap there where I kind of stopped doing it because I got way more focused in tournament fishing. So I tried putting all my time into fishing tournament hours. And constantly just fishing at night, like it's detrimental to your fishing. I'll say it. And I firmly believe that. If all you're doing is fishing at night, it is absolutely detrimental to your fishing if your goal is to expand and learn.
Right.
And you want to become a more well-rounded fisherman, only night fishing, or primarily night fishing, is going to hinder your ability to do that because it becomes a crutch. Because it is absolutely... It's been proven that it is, in fact, easier. So if you're only fishing at the easiest, most productive times, then you're not ever going to learn how to adjust and fish different things at different times. Different conditions. Not many different kinds of conditions when you're fishing in the dark of the night. When there's no boat traffic, no other fishing pressure, and the whole 9 yards. I was saying something prior to that. What was I saying?
I don't know.
I had to go off on that tangent and absolutely ruin my train of thought. That was brilliant. Spinnerbaits. So I brought up earlier, I was doing the jigs and I was doing crankbaits, and then someone either told me or read about it, like throw big single Colorado blade spinnerbaits. I started doing that. And I had moderate success. I never caught any of the giants, I know some people do. But I still had some moderate success, but I started just having better success fishing. Like, one of my favorite things at night is just a Rapala DT4. A little tiny crankbait, that's 4 feet. It is like,
Those things get hammered, dude. All the
trucked all night long.
It's so much fun.
A damn near silent crankbait,
Pretty
too.
much the same as this.
Yeah, pretty much.
As a chatterbait.
And that thing gets smoked at
I
night, too.
At sunset, I picked this thing up and I'm like, okay, time to just catch a fish now. find the closest flat on the lake, and I grind this thing for about an hour and a half, and I'll catch 2 to 3 fish.
Yep.
But there's specific ponds that I go to do that, so.
So what you look for on spot-to-spot body water differ from trophy hunting versus fishing conventional? Ooh.
That's a good question.
Yes. Mostly dependent on time of the year and conditions and everything. And that's only recent. I kind of figured the thing out this spring. During that 1 week stretch where I caught 9 4-pounders in 1 week when I was out there looking for the 5s and the 6s.
Yeah.
But I kind of figured something out. And it's very much location specific when we're talking pre-spawn. And the plus side is it's not that different from everything we had already been doing for years for where we're looking for pre-spawn bites. We're looking for those transitions. But there's a different kind of transition that they will move out of their way for to go to. And in this case, when we're thinking the pond which we do not speak, there's that one pocket.
Yep.
That we were killing it on. And it's because there was current of some kind.
We sat there for, geez, how long?
Hours.
Yeah, I think 3 hours.
And it was like the spot within a spot within a spot where it's out of the way, but it's on either side of a spawn flat, and it's kind of in that transitional area as far as depth goes, but it had current. And that was the deciding thing, I think. And then we went and we kind of did the same thing we were looking over at the pond down the street. When we ended the week, we both caught 2 4s.
Right.
And it was a little different, but it was just adjacent to current.
It was the same thing.
Yeah, but like we just kind of find this thing so very, very condition dependent, and in most cases for us when we're trophy hunting, it has been that like the stars aligned where okay, we've been doing this, and like the bite is getting better as we further narrowed it down. So I know where we are at this lake, and I know that if we go here, here, or here, it's got either all of that combined or damn near close to the same thing we would do, and that slight difference might be it, might be the factor that holds the bigger fish.
You should go out there just at sunset so we can still make it out there without hitting anything, and stay there till sunrise.
Well, what I'll do this
So
time
we can
too.
come back and not hit anything.
Well, this time instead of using just like 100 waypoints, I know the safe way through. No joke, I'll put down like 600 waypoints, and I'll go through and enter every single one of them. I'll write them all down on my piece of paper, like type them out, print them, and I'll just have you rattle them off me, and I'll punch them all in my graph.
I'll do that.
The hell else am I going to say? Well, let me look at the questions first, because I had a thing I wanted to talk about. Yes, Panda, you were absolutely right, and that's based off of what we found last year for our biggest success. And that's not just what we found in the spring, but also what I found. Wow, I mean, immediate ice out, year 7.5. Last year, we were talking like late spring.
Sorry, I was distracted.
How bigger fish tend to set up home base. Like they have a general area. And then you went back the next year, you caught that same 7, not that far from where you caught it the year before.
Now it was about not even 100 yards.
Yep. And then thinking back to that, both stretches, the 2 places during that 1 week stretch, they're all. Oh, there was the camera again. Sorry guys, 1 second.
Hold on, we gotta fix the camera again. No momento, por favor.
As I step on the power supply. Why do you insist on doing that?
We're gonna have this fixed for next week. Don't worry.
Back in 3 seconds. If I can click the right thing.
This is a good time for peeing.
There's gotta be an easier way to fix that. Plus side, it didn't overheat this time, so the fan was working.
All right, good. Hey, good call, guys.
What?
The fan.
What else were we just talking about though? For locations. Oh, and then so we had that 1 week stretch where like I caught 904 pounds in 7 days, and it was between 2 different ponds, and they were all on the same spot in that one stretch where it all got started that week. Same friggin' spot I go every year with that spinnerbait.
Yep.
That was day 2 in that whole stretch. Day 1 was only a couple hundred feet up shore. But same deal. Steep bank, shallow spot, right against deep water, like main lake deep water.
And there's like 2 or 3 rocks in there.
Uh-huh. And then that was just it.
That's the thing, though. If you're looking for those big open spaces with big structure that's like away from everything else.
But adjacent to deep water. Like the main deep water. Like especially we were thinking where we ended that week. Like that's a huge expansive flat, but it's got that
water
one,
right there.
Yep, the deep water and the original stream from where they flooded the place, like right against the outside edge, so they can just highway right up to the main lake.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to it. All right, there's no other questions. One of the things I wanted to ask you.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you
ask me. Okay, ask me a question.
Well, do you want to go first? Is that what you're about to say?
Yep.
You'll go first. I'll start, and then you can do yours when you get back. One of the things I wanted to talk about.
I'll listen to the wall.
Is highlighting. So we've talked about going from conventional to trophy hunting and like why and how, like what drives everything to that. And I think we've covered that pretty well. One of the things I really wanted to give like a good example of is like a day where we did both, or something but just really memorable from deciding, yeah, maybe the traditional wasn't it and trophy was it, because like trophy hunting, big swim bait fishing is still, although has exploded, a growing thing in New England. I'm trying to think. I had one day. I would say it was the very last day. I'm trying to think of a day where like I had both, right? Where I smacked them around in conventional, traditional bass fishing stuff, and then we made that switch to the heavy duty stuff and we killed it, or at least I killed it. And the only day I can think of that really stands out would probably be... I'm trying to think of a couple of days where I had some good ones. There's one day in the middle of that week that I was fishing with my son last spring where I got into, again, the 9 4+ pounders in 7-day stretch. There was one day where we went out early. I did okay fishing a jig and a shaky head and a spinnerbait and I think even a jerkbait, and I caught a few. I only had like 3 hours to fish, and then I busted out the wake bait. And actually before that I was fishing this 8-inch Hunt, and we went back to this one spot that kind of like I just caught a big fish before the night, and we were just talking about this one spot on the pond in which we do not speak. Okay. And I threw that big 8-inch Hunt, and my kid was asking me a question. I turned around and I heard a violent swirl, and I felt a little think on my 8-foot swimbait rod, and I looked back just to see this huge swirl, and my bait's all twisted around. I'm like, I missed the fish. But that was enough. And I picked it up, and I tied on that wake, and I waited like 5 minutes. Yep, I went for the 8-inch Hunt and went to the bull wake. And I threw that back in. And the whole reason I went back in there is because I was starting to do well on the outside areas, like leading into that spot. I started hitting them. And the fact that I already caught one big fish there just 2 nights before, I was like, okay, I think this is going to be it. I feel like I'm pushing the fish in. I'm following them back into this spot. So I went back to the big baits and missed that fish on the 8-inch Hunt, and I switched over to the wake. I threw it up in there, and I told my son, I'm like, watch this, I'm going to catch that fish. I threw it up there, and I waited. That was, I think you or somebody else told me when we're fishing the wakes, wait for the ripples to dissipate.
Yep, that's what I do.
And it's kind of a small spot. Waited 15 seconds, half turn, blew up. Ended up being 4.5.
Yeah, because they'll sit there. When these things hit the water, they don't make a small splash like this little duber. These things make a wake. They make a tsunami when they smack the water. If they land flat, you want to let it sit there for a little while. At least that's what I do, and I've caught a lot of fish by literally just casting out and letting it sit, wait for those those ripples to go away. And sometimes I even wait longer and they'll hit it while it's just sitting there. But I've got success from doing that.
Yep.
I don't know if it's a ping or if it's a real. I don't know, but
You know, it definitely is. Because when I was talking to Brian, I want to keep saying his last name is Correa, but I can't remember the exact pronunciation of his last name.
Brian Correa. Correa.
Bassin Panda is here. He knows him. He actually met him at Bacharach 2 years ago. But he's a New Hampshire guy. He is a trophy hunter. Like, that guy can grind it out. Champ. Catches big fish all the time.
Yeah. Big fish.
He like corroborated that info that you guys had figured out with the wait bait. Like, wait 10, 20, 30 seconds for all the ripples to dissipate, and then go.
Right.
Like, a really, really long pause is really kind of consistently key for a big wait bait like
It's
that.
funny, because when I was working at SVM, he came there. He was one of our customers there. And I think I had just finished building a snowmobile. And I was bringing a snowmobile out to his truck, and I see a big filthy anglers thing on the back of his truck. I'm like, huh. And then I look into the front of his truck, and there's like 7 freaking swimbait rods in there. I'm like, huh, I gotta talk to this guy. We sat there. I was going to lunch, and I ended up sitting there for like, I think 45 minutes talking to him. He's like, you gotta get into big baits. I'm like, no, I'm never gonna do that. I'm never gonna do it.
And then you did.
And then I did. And we started catching bigger fish. He ain't lying.
Yep. I want to get that book, Panda. Korea. Brian Korea. Oh, that's him pronounced? Okay, that's good to know. John Hope. Panda, you're going to have to tell me about what that book exactly is called from John Hope. I want to get at that. So that was... Alright, I gave my example of one of my favorite days going from conventional to trophy hunting. Specifically, a day of trophy hunting was end of June last year. And a lot of my examples are pretty recent because, you know, again, I only really started 3 years ago with the rat.
How do you remember the dates? I don't remember what the hell I had for breakfast.
Because I can explain. This only specifically for this trip. But then, like 2 years ago, then I started getting like into the HUDs. This one. You know, I got one of these. No, dude, that was 3 years ago now too. Or was that 2017?
What, those things?
Remember that one video I posted? Dude, I've been doing this for 5 years now. Is when I really started fishing swimbaits. It's been that long. Because I had a day in the end of 2017, November 2017. I had one of the best days I've ever had.
Yeah, because I used to watch you throw them like, idiot.
And it was that day in the pond in which we do not speak. It was first weekend of November. It was 70-something degrees. I told my boss I'm leaving at lunch. Because it was just so nice out and the wind was ripping. And it was right after a bunch of rain. So at the inlet of this specific pond, yes, I can speak. This is gonna be my number one most memorable day because it was one of the first good days, and then I have a second one that was the one I was originally gonna tell. And I just knew, I was like, if I go up there in that outlet where all that recently warm rain we had just got from a nor'easter was gonna be just flooding the spot, and I know the fish stack up there in the end of the year anyway. I was like, this is like, I can't miss this opportunity. But like, it was 2 days after it was a day after. So everything was just starting to kind of calm down, but the wind was still ripping, and it had been already blowing up that way the last 2 days anyway, so like everything should have been focused there, and I was fucking right. I went up there with that spinnerbait, and I caught one. And then I went to what I, at the time, had been fishing already for a few years, was my big swim bait. And it was just a 4-inch Kitech on the back of a skirted swim jig. And then I catched a 4, no, a 3, a 3, a 4, and a 5. And then I busted out this guy. The 6-inch Huddleston Deluxe 68, and I caught another 5. The first time in my life I ever caught 2 5-pounders in one trip. And then I didn't get any for a little bit, went back to the other swim bait, and I caught another 4. And then I went back to the Deluxe 68, and the bite had like already died at this point. It was a really narrow window where I just hit it perfect. And I dropped another 4. But I had 2 5s, 2 4s, and a heavy 3 for my best 5 solo. And 2 of them, I got one in the boat. There's 5 pounds, 5 ounces on that Huddleston Deluxe. And then I should have had another one that was well over 4 pounds that I dropped like 5 or 10 feet from the boat. That's my most memorable, like just straight like big bait fishing. I know. But my number 2 was with the DEF CON. And the reason why I remember this date.
That was okay. Yeah, I remember that because that's when you went with your dad.
My dad and my uncle. First time I fished with my dad and my uncle in the last 2 years. And they're kind of a little late to get going there because they're a half an hour further out than I am before we were fishing. And I like to get there super early anyway. So I went out and I was fishing for like an hour before they got there. And I ended up catching 2 like good 3s on that DEF CON around a rock. Like, sweet, this is great. We start the day. You know, I boxed and took my picture, let him go. When I picked up my dad and my uncle, we started working rocks. Caught a couple more. And I'm like, okay. And this kind of goes to like that conventional, like I caught 2 good ones on the jig. And I caught like 2 more. And my dad and I started killing them on Texas string baits. And I'm like, screw this. And I picked this thing up and I committed to that almost the rest of the day. I caught 7 over 3 pounds and 17 total. The smallest was 1.5 pounds, and it was the only one under 2 pounds. So they're 16 or 2 pounds or heavier, but 7 were like 3.5-ish. I think the biggest I caught today was like 3 pounds, 14 ounces. All in that thing, just like isolated rocks, just bomb it 10, 20 feet past.
I think I called you. You called me or something. And, dude, this thing is so sick.
Just tick, 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 feel the rock, dude, and they'd slam it. That's, I get to elaborate on like some of my favorite trolling fishing days specifically. But while you're in there, that was the first thing I covered was my favorite trips. One where I started out conventional, kick butt, and then switched to something big and still had a good day. You know, recognizing that transition of like, you know what, we've done well, I think this will work for something bigger, and it worked. It's great. And then what was your favorite just straight up big bait fishing day?
My favorite big bait fishing day?
Yeah.
All of them? I don't know. I think probably the day when we went in the spring and through the bull wakes.
Last day of that whole stretch on that Friday. That was another day where nor'easter was moving in.
Yep.
That was amazing.
That day was insane. We caught, I don't even remember how many, over 4 we caught.
We both caught 2 at 4 or bigger.
And we caught a lot of, I think we caught a lot of 3s that day too, because we were just like, oh, it's 4. No, it's 3. Oh, it's a 4. No, it's a 3.
A lot of 3s. That was just straight up quality. And we both dropped a couple of big fish too.
Yeah.
Remember I dropped one on that?
Yep.
First bite.
Yep.
And that was on my Wicked Custom Rods 8-foot friggin' swimbait rod I just got. Yeah.
Either that or the night that I missed the giant. That was probably another one of my favorite nights because that was the night that I jumped on your boat and just left my boat floating in the lake.
Yeah, because we went down to that pocket.
Yeah.
And you can only get one boat down there. And he was like, we're going to fish it. Like, what do you do with your boat? I'm just going to leave here.
I just
Middle of the lake.
I just jumped out and like
No
got
lights
his
on
boat
it.
and then we went.
Came back an hour later. Yep, there's your boat.
It was like 100 yards down the shoreline.
It's a good thing nobody else showed up. They would have been like, emergency! There's a boat floating here. Nobody's in it.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It started picking up and that was another night it rained, I think, too.
That was the night where... Was it that night? Yeah. We were working that back channel. And that was the day after I caught that 4.7 something. On that. And
Yeah,
that
I was like, I'm going to catch that thing now.
It was like the 3rd or 4th night in a row where I was hitting him on that bull rat. And I was like, dude, get yours. We're going over here. Meet me there. And we're like, yep, okay, we went. And I think it was Thursday. Yeah, because it was like preceding the nor'easter really coming up. And I kept remembering looking at the weather, and it kept saying like 20%, 30% chance of rain, and then it 30, 40%, 50%. And checking the radar, I'm like, dude, it's gonna hit us. Square right on.
It was red. It was like black on.
And it went from like a beautiful,
like
clear, cloudless night, and we're watching
like,
the moon, remember?
Perfect moon, like beautiful, like there's no clouds, like we're watching the stars, like.
And the cloud came fucking ripping
It was just like little cloud. And then,
the wall.
like, every cloud that has ever been formed on the Earth just came at once. And it was like, oh, shit!
You, like, almost counted real time. I know it sounds stupid, but, like, they were moving so fast, it was like, all of a sudden, the moon disappears. We were both looking up at it.
Oh, well, we should probably get out of here.
Friend.
We should probably go get my boat now before it gets blown all the way down the other end of the lake.
And then, like that, it all of a sudden started howling.
That was...
And then the rain picked up. It did.
It happened twice, the same pond.
That area of the state, man, it just likes to rain.
Yeah, but it's only 10 minutes from here.
I know, I don't understand. It's because of that one mountain.
Yeah, it is.
Hill, mountain, whatever. It just changes the way the air and the systems come through there. It just like condenses it and throw it that one spot. It's weird, man.
These plastic baits you are holding up, how do you hook them with a beast hook or line through? Line through?
I do beast hook on the...
Sweet.
So that's a... Let me get a little closer. That's a Beast Coast creep. It's 6.5 inch. You know, a little graphic here. So Look at my deep pocket.
My mom's watching. Mom, close your eyes. This is where you put the hook.
These baits were specifically molded with a deep hook pocket, specifically for the beast hook. The creeps are better off with like an 8 to a 10 aught. The Miyagi swimmer, same deal. It's got a hook pocket molded into the bottom so that belly weight can slide up into it. That's for like a 5 or 6 aught hook. You can do line through. There's actually, I should know what this fin is called on it. The that's the peduncle fin, and that's the anal fin. But so like right here, the peduncle. No, that's back here. Oh, dude, I'm gonna fail that guide test. Anyway, that hook pocket, like head to here, is where it ends. But like back here, if you do line through to a treble, like there's just enough meat you can slide the line through and then hook it right back here. And it would probably work great without impacting.
I don't even know if it would really work that well with that. The line through, unless it comes down.
Yeah, you'd have to like go straight through and then kick it down.
Yeah.
But I think it would work great.
But I actually saw a little trick for a line through is use a little straw.
Yes, they actually make like
Well, they make them, but
yeah.
You can literally take a bar straw and use it.
Stuff it in.
I don't go to the bar anymore, but I could get you some.
Man, I think we kind of covered everything.
Yeah, I mean, we have. We're waiting for you guys to ask questions.
I wonder if we should go touch a button on that camera now before it kicks out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go touch a button on the camera.
Touch a button. I forget what you did last time that it didn't kick out.
Whoa.
Was it that? I think you had to do something else. He's gonna break it.
I don't want to do it.
No, do it. See what happens.
It's just focusing.
Oh. I think that's enough though. Well, we'll see what happens. Sorry.
Who's that?
John, yeah, John's probably right. I think
See, that's my mom yelling at me.
Pectoral fin, yeah. Have you seen Rapala's live perch color? Rapala's live perch color. I don't think I have.
I feel like a rapper.
Oh, gee, man. Shoot a load on
Oh, man, shoot a load on the chin.
CKY2K? Anybody? You know what's sad? Now I can say that's aging myself.
It is. That was like 20 years ago.
Yeah. He was right on.
Yeah. That's great. We know a thing or two about being cool.
I'm hip.
I'm hip. I'm with it.
I can't think of anything else I really want to cover for this. Like, I hope, and please tell me if I'm wrong, that we elaborated enough on what drives us from one extreme to the other. Because to me, these are two very wildly different extremes.
I mean, look at the size of the baits.
Right, and it's a totally different mindset. Like you said, dude, you're burning out your shoulder, heating these heavy things. Unless you've got a really like ideal setup that's meant for
Unless you're
handling
like
heavy
Paul
duty
and
stuff.
you lift weights for a living.
But a bodybuilder Paul. Remember that video of him burning that bull shad like it was a friggin'
Yeah, dude.
2-inch crankbait?
What is wrong with you? You're just like, I'd be like, oh my god. Finesse trophy fishing, is that a thing that is absolutely 100% a thing?
Yeah, we just did that for 6 weeks straight to wrap up 2020.
How many 4s and 4-pound smallies did we catch?
I'll do you one better. How many 20-plus pound bag smallies did we catch?
True. Okay.
Of just smallmouth?
A lot.
5.
5?
Pretty close.
Holy shit. So
I
4?
did it.
Pretty close to 4.
Did we do it 4? Yeah, I think we did it 4 times, and then we had a day where we had 19 pounds. For our best spot. I know, I'm shocked. 19 pounds,
Our best day,
Damn.
what was it, 24? 23 and 3/4 pounds.
I'll tell you exactly
I
what
think it was 23 and 3/4 pounds.
I think you are
remember
correct.
Anything but fishing stuff, so that better be correct.
That wasn't that long ago.
It was like a month ago. Oh,
That's not it. That. No,
that was Connecticut River.
Oh, I gotta go back further. Was it?
No. It was the day where I had my 5, I think.
That's. Oh, okay. So it was after. Oh, it was that guy. It was that day. 23.7 pounds.
That was close enough.
All smallmouth. 5 even. 4.88, 4.69, 4.63, and 4.5.
Our smallest is 4.5.
We caught every single one of those fish on a 2.8-inch swim bait.
2.8.
Let that sink in. Yes, there is such a thing as finesse trophy fishing. In November, nonetheless, with 45-degree water. That was amazing.
Okay, trophy fishing doesn't always mean that there's giant fish.
Dang, Mike's here.
But for largemouth, and if you want to do it. Yo, what up, Mike? How's Canada treating you?
For smallmouth, there is absolutely such a thing as finesse trophy fishing. I mean, you could say that the St. Lawrence River is kind of like finesse trophy fishing the whole time. When you get it right.
You gotta catch fish, though.
Yeah, when you hit it right. Those elites make it look easy.
It is not easy.
No, well, especially when we were stupid and we go in friggin' August. Nah, that's not fair.
TJ killed it. His wife killed it more than he did.
I know. Although, it wasn't like they killed it the whole week either.
No.
Like, they had a couple of windows where they hammered them.
Oh, yeah.
And we just missed it. We were fishing that same spot. We just missed it.
Literally, we were...
No, we literally started at the same spot. No, we may have started a couple hundred feet down.
Not even 100 feet from him.
But the first spot we went to was almost identical, like almost exactly where he was. Because remember, we pulled around the corner and there was like 8 boats lined up along that whole ridge. We were like, okay, I guess we'll start all the way up here.
Yeah, that's the spot where what's-his-face won the Bassmaster Elites.
Giving an idea to scale, like you talk about an underwater point here in New Hampshire, New England in general.
It's 100 feet long.
Maybe. That's a big submerged point up here. This submerged point on Lake Ontario was 3.5 miles long. That gives perspective. Like, oh, look at that awesome point. It goes from like 20 feet at the top down to 35 feet at the bottom. Well, I can only be a couple hundred. Oh my God, it's miles. Why is it going down?
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. And then you go off to the side of it a little bit and you're in 200 feet of water. What the hell?
Panda, you come up, buddy. We'll make it happen. And yes, Mike, Mike's actually got a very, very good point. It's because it does get hammered. By the time we get there, it's already had like 1,000 tournaments in a 30-day window.
Yeah.
But you know what? We caught fish. One of us caught fish every day we were at the St. Lawrence.
It was one day.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I'm sorry. I'm gonna remember that. It's one thing I have against you every time you backboat me.
You just be like, I caught 2 7-pounders. Yeah, that was rough.
When I go with TJ this spring, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna call you when oh, buddy, I'm so sorry we're already now on the road.
I'm coming, Dad. I quit. Fuck you. I'm going. Grab my boat. We're going.
No, but legitimately, we're going up there.
Oh yeah. Be better.
Weekend trips. I would legit do overnight trips. Like, I'll drive up Friday and then drive on Saturday night.
I won't do that.
I will.
You better make me a bed in the bed.
I can do that. I don't care. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
I'm gonna buy you a cap so I can put a bed back there. I can sleep all the way. All that heavy lifting I'm gonna be doing.
Panda, I can't wait to fish Mexico. That's on the bucket list. What else we got? Jonathan, trying to trophy hunt smallies this summer. Any non-serial lakes you can talk about? Love Newfound. Trying to explore locations. So Newfound.
I've caught a few 4-pound large smallies out of Newfound this year.
It's a grind.
It's a grind.
It is a grind here, especially the last few years.
It was a lot better. In the last couple of years, it's just been tough.
Something had to change that we're not aware of. That we'll eventually figure out.
I think we're aware of it. Because you caught almost a state record last year.
Yeah.
I almost guarantee that's the issue.
Rock bass. It started to change things. It was the first time. And actually, once I caught it and posted about it, then we started hearing from other people like, oh yeah, dude, like the last 2 years, I started catching big rock bass. I'm like, oh crap. So that absolutely could play a part into it. Although the explosion of smelt, I think, has played into it too. Like, I've never seen anywhere the number of smelt that we saw the last 2 times we were there.
Yeah, dude.
Literally 30 feet tall of smelt.
That was insane.
Over like 100 feet?
A couple hundred feet, yeah.
It was insane. Absolutely insane. The only thing I've seen that's remotely come close to that is where we were looking for holdover strikers.
Yeah,
but for like that density,
100 times bigger than these.
Yeah, but just like speaking to that volume, that density of fish.
Yeah, that was insane.
Aside from that, avoid Winnie. I don't care what anybody says. The tournament results I've been looking at the last 3 years back it up. Avoid Winnie. It is not the trophy smallmouth fishery it once was. Not to say you can't catch a few, but they're very few and far between now because the rock bass have impacted what they do at different times of the year so greatly. It is just so hard to go through the millions of rock bass in there now to get to them. And although they are also in Winnisquam, I would say Winnisquam and Merry Meeting and Newfound are your 3 well-known, everybody knows about them, best chances for catching big smallmouth in New Hampshire. Winnisquam is a really tough nut to crack. I don't fish there that often because the boat traffic there is so much worse, it being the southernmost, biggest lake, with actually a really nice boat launch too. So that kind of plays into a big part. I think it's a lot of pressure. It's just this giant bowl. Like you go to Squam, dude, it doesn't matter where you're on Squam. There's rock piles, there's humps, there's like anything you can think of there. Good vegetation. Squam, the variety there is insane, but something about that place changed big time too.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, trophy smallmouth hunting, smaller ponds.
Yep, or get out of New Hampshire.
Or get out of New Hampshire.
Go to Vermont. And I'm not just saying that because it's one place we were hammered on that. I'm saying that because Vermont's better. Because Vermont has a catch and release period that runs from the end of November until May for all bass.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get basically ice fishermen that take all the quality fish out. Yeah, I'm putting the blame on you guys. Squarely, on your shoulders.
Damn eagles.
Can I remember? We've caught some big fish there.
We've got...
But not giant smallmouth. Well,
No.
we've only fished a few sections.
There's big fish in there. I almost guarantee we didn't catch the biggest fish out there.
No, I know we did. But the number of big fish
The
is
number
really,
of-
that's kind of like the splitting hairs aspect.
It was really good, though. We were catching consistent 3.5 to 3 3/4 numbers.
Right. But if you're talking
We were
4
really
plus
cracking
range, like
4.
consistent like 4.5 plus range, like that's where like Newfound and Merry Meeting Winnisquam really come into play. Although, and that maybe it's just because the river's different. It's so drastically different from everything else we do. Those sections we just really haven't hit it at different times of the year where we can get into quality.
Right.
And we certainly haven't been hitting the better spots. Like I know when you're fishing below the dam, like the Hinsdale section,
Oh.
you're gonna have jet boat to go up, or you're gonna hit the other boat launch.
Brian Correa, you want to hang out?
Yeah,
You're
guy.
a jet boat now.
We should take him to where that, dude, his boat on the place we were just talking about.
Yeah.
That day we got the force.
Yeah.
We don't gotta worry about anything. Brian, hammer it, we're going.
Dude.
He just wouldn't be able to go past the bridge.
Yeah, we'll go up it and over it.
I've caught so many big fish off that bridge.
Man.
Yeah.
Marry me. That's another. I've been there, but yeah, drunk boaters. Yeah, absolutely.
Merry Meeting is a cool spot. It's that's a bowl. Like if you think I just said Winnisquam's a bowl, Merry Meeting is a bowl. It's also the second deepest lake in the state. 195 feet I think is where it tops out at. I have family that lives on it and it's insane. Like it is just crazy how steep the banks are on like the southern and eastern end of the lake. But it kind of lies like southwest to northeast, but on like that whole south side of it, going from the boat launch east-ish, it's insane how steep it drops. My uncle owns a house over on that side, and like from his house, it drops at an angle like this, down in the water.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is where the house I went to.
You know, and all of a sudden it kind of like kicks out a little bit until it goes from like a 60-degree angle to like a 40-degree angle, like a 45-degree angle, until it hits like 10 feet. And then it just kicks this little lip, and then it tanks down at like 80-degree angle almost. Dude, it's seriously so steep until it hits 25, 30 feet, and then it comes to this little beautiful flat lip, and then straight tanks at like a near 45-degree angle or steeper, down to 180 feet. It's just down. It's the wildest thing.
Yeah.
The place is insane. There's big fish
Super
there.
clear though. The place is really clear.
It's in the top 10, but for the clearest lakes in the state, but I forget where exactly it ranks on that list. It's up there, though. It's like number 5 or 6 or something like that. Ton of bowls around here.
Hey!
Goddamn hippies.
Just purchased a new one.
You did?
The size of my leg.
I don't want to almost elaborate on your point you just said about smaller ponds, but do your research. Keep your mouth shut. All of that information can be found online as far as like New Hampshire Fish and Game. Do your research. Know what smallmouth like to eat. find bodies of water that have the overlap, put in a time.
Yep.
You will find them. You will find some absolute hidden gems, and when you do, keep your damn mouth shut.
I didn't really put that much time on that lake, though. I put about 3 hours on it.
Shut up.
Fucking
With
hammer.
my rod and my lure.
Hey, use this. Okay.
I don't say that for selfish reasons, but at the same time I do it. It's not just for my own selfishness. It's for the selfishness of all other anglers that really care about quality. Dude, there are some absolute hidden gems in New Hampshire.
There it is.
And if you put in the time, you can find them. And when you do, keep your damn mouth shut, because it does not take much for a spot to get blown up. And I'm already seeing it happen with a few of my favorite lakes that have quality, that other places that I knew that used to always have great quality have gotten obliterated. And the biggest problem I found is when ice anglers get in there. Because they want to keep them in, like, they don't understand how detrimental it is to keep only big fish. Our growth rate in New Hampshire, in New England in general, is so friggin' slow. Until you get down to, like, into the Cape area of Mass, where they legitimately have open water year round, so they're at least in the upper 30s for water temp, like, their growth rate is drastically different. Plus their forage base is a little bit more, not elaborate, but like elaborate and extensive, because they get the herring run too in a lot of those places. But you're talking about a very small, narrow window in the entirety of New England.
Just because a bigger fish is a bigger meal doesn't mean it's the best tasting meal.
Right. You know, but like all these guys, like, they're like, oh, sweet, I got a 5-pound small, I'm taking that home, that's a trophy, and it's good to eat in the middle of the winter. You just killed a 10-year-old fish. 10 years old. Like 8 to 10 years on average. It's about a half a pound a year for growth rate for bass in New Hampshire. That's insane. It may even be slower for smallmouth. So that's why I say keep your mouth shut, because the number of trophy fisheries in New Hampshire just continues to dwindle, because too many people catch and release, but unfortunately the ones that are kept are just the giants. And you throw off that balance, and it doesn't allow a couple of other smaller fish to grow bigger. It just allows a lot of fish to grow a little bit bigger to make up for that difference in poundage in the overall acreage of the lake. So just be careful on what you find, keep it to yourself.
Right. Yeah, like that pond. I've only been to a handful of times, but the day me and Kyle went there, like, I caught two fish over 4.5 pounds. The first time ever going there, we were only there for a couple hours. I went there like a month later with Kyle, and we saw, I thought it was only, well, no, because I did catch a couple small largies, but I didn't think there was that many largies in there. I thought there was more smallies than largies. We and Kyle saw this school of largies come underneath the boat. It had to have been at least 200 fish, at least 200 largemouth, about 1 pound. And then there was this random, like, between 5 and 6 pound largie hanging out around them.
Yep.
It's probably eating them. But that's the thing, though. These largemouth get into these places and
Spawn like rabbits for a little bit, and before you know it,
and
like,
then the smallies are gone.
Yep.
Just like that other place up in where Kristen caught her PB.
Yeah, her 6.
Oh god, that thing was huge.
She actually told me the scale bounds between 6 and 6.1. Every time she weighed it, she weighed it 6.1, weighed it again 6, weighed it again 6.1, weighed it again 6. So she went with the lower number, which I don't blame her. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
But that's insane.
Damn.
We went to one of the most premier smallmouth factories in the world, and we couldn't even catch a 5 in 2 weeks of fishing. The biggest fish we caught is still smaller than anything I caught in New Hampshire.
Seriously.
I've
I got a
got
4.9 though.
yeah, still a good fish. I'm not gonna complain about that. Just go show how hard it is.
We went to the St. Lawrence River, Lake Ontario, for a week. One of the days I got skunked. I was not happy. Well, not.
And I only caught one.
Yeah. And we both lost easily our PB. Easily. Like, it was just, like, without a
Multiple
doubt.
times.
Without a doubt. We come back to New Hampshire, and I forget who found that pond. Was it me? My mom. My mom told me about it.
Your mom told you about it, and there was one of my subscribers that told me about it too. So there was an overlap, and then it was another place that I had found.
Right, and I had
At
found it
some
on
point-
Google Maps.
I was doing my research, I was looking around, and I was like, okay, I'm looking for places that have smallmouth, and then like these other things. And then I came across that. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Your mom told us about that place. She found it. And, oh, yeah, one of my subscribers told me about that place.
And then that's the day then we just went there and we ended up meeting up and we ended up fishing it for a few hours and it paid off.
I remember when I caught that 3-pound largemouth, I was like, yeah, we're going to have a great night. And then I caught like nothing after that. And you're like, look at PB. Look, a PB.
Sorry. Cape's locked up.
No.
What the hell do you mean it's locked up?
Yeah, Kotu, where exactly on the Cape are you talking about?
Yeah.
I want to know exactly where on the Cape you think is locked up.
Cape Vincent?
New York? You know,
Nyack?
we can't fish Lake Ontario or the St. Lawrence River until the 3rd week of June.
Good.
That's when the season starts.
Outta here.
It's insane.
We're going in July.
I'm going that weekend.
In June? Oh yeah, let's go.
We're going.
Okay.
I'm just going to tell TJ, like, okay, me and Andrew, make sure there's room in the truck for us. Let us know how much we owe for gas.
You know what we should do? TJ, if you're watching,
Yeah.
what kind of cop car do you drive? Does it have a tow hitch?
No, just have him drive that. We'll drive your truck. Don't worry, I'll keep up. It doesn't matter how fast you're going, I'll keep up. Please, escort, go.
I'll sleep in the back.
You know you're driving a 3500 with like a 4,000 pound blow bag. I'll keep up.
120 the whole way. Get there in 6 hours.
Now we're rambling.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, but we like it.
We do. This has been good. I was a little concerned about this. What we
This
did,
was a tough one for. I think this was a tough one for us.
it was,
Because
but
it's hard to explain.
you had an excellent point. So what we did differently for this week was we actually got together last night and we went over everything we were going to talk about for the stream tonight. And I have like a document where I'm trying to lay out all the topics for follow-up streams. Trying to think about other things we want to talk about. And a lot of the additional topics we have are still more cold water centric. And he was like, dude, we've been talking about cold water, so change it up. And this was another topic I had, like traditional versus trophy hunting. I was like, I'm not sure we can carry it for like an hour. It's been 2 hours. Even with technical difficulties, we got at least an hour and 45. So this was good. Yeah, the whole thing.
Like,
I don't want to do that though.
like, I do. I can pick which fish I want to catch.
I can do it.
I got a
for
5.5
day.
or I have an 8 right here. I'll go for the 5.
I can do it for a day, if that.
I can do it for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Bed fishing's fun, but it's
Every once in a
it's
while.
what you do to bring your kids out or your nephew or. I still gotta bring Jackson out bed fishing.
Everybody's got to do it every once in a while to just experience it, because it is an experience. But then once you know what you're doing and you do it a few times, you're like, oh, yeah, this is just like, it takes the fun out of it. It's too easy. Just shooting fish in a barrel.
Literally go catch 100 fish in a day
Yeah.
if you want.
Although if you just want to gain confidence, even though it's kind of like faux confidence of a new technique, like just to like okay, I caught a bunch of fish. Oh my god, dude. Like I want to. What if they need that wake bait? If I park that gill right over the top of bedding small, and you come up and crush it.
Probably.
It'd be amazing. Just like
Probably look at it for like
super
20
water.
minutes and he's like,
He's on his bed, and all of a sudden he's like, what? What are you doing? Fuck you!
They probably would if you found a shallow enough bed. I bet they would come up and smoke it.
Probably.
2 or 3 feet.
Yep.
If you find one.
Especially if you rip it across them. What was that? What's that coming out?
It would be like. It'd be like this, and then you just see us when they go by and be like, fuck! Got it.
That's amazing.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah, I don't know, like that's it. Like I was kind of concerned that this wasn't really going to carry, but obviously it did. So, thank y'all for watching and sticking around. We appreciate it. And more importantly, like being interactive in the chat. We definitely peaked at the highest we've had so far on the stream, which is great. Sustained viewer count definitely went down. I don't blame you guys. There's technical difficulties that we had to roll with, and just kind of piecemeal conversation, which was good. But we wanted to change it up because everything we've been talking about was centered around cold water. And as good as that information is, we do have to break it up a little bit. What else do you want us to see us cover for these streams? Like, I want to know what else you guys want us to talk about. I have
A few more ideas.
I've got one, and a lot of these are going to start to have guests involved. There's one thing that I would love to start talking about electronics, but I will not do that unless I get a very specific guest involved, and he cannot commit to that anytime soon. so I may have to wait a little bit. I want to talk specifically smallmouth, and that can cover the whole breadth of the season and everything we do for that. And then specifically talk about largemouth, because we're unique in New England that we have such diverse fisheries. We're not southern guys where everything's a giant friggin' impoundment where you're dealing with current or like ledges or things like that. Like we have kettle ponds, we have glacial ponds, we have rivers, we have
the whole spectrum.
Yeah, we have like baby glacial ponds, which I know sounds kind of stupid, but
it matters. We have a handful within 45 minutes from here.
Yeah, and depending on the forage base, it drastically changes how these fish are like targeted. So, like, there's a lot we can cover from that. I really want to talk specifically about swimbaits in New England because it is such a growing thing around here. And I've got a few guys lined up that they are absolutely in. When we do that, it's going to be a Saturday stream. It's going to be like an additional bonus stream that we're going to do because we have to work around one of those guys' schedules, which I'm totally fine with.
Explain why there's seasons.
No, we cannot. Shut up, Phantom. And then what was the other thing? Oh, breaking down new bodies of water, because that's something I've really put a lot of time in the last few years. I even had a series running 3 years ago.
Series?
Yeah, fishing new ponds for the first time. But the problem with that was I felt that was only as good as being able to show like depth maps and like really naming where I was going. And that was okay when I was like really small, but I'm still really small in the grand scheme of things. But I don't want to be the guy responsible for blowing up ponds, so like that kind of had to go away. But we can still talk, like we can just pick a lake at random. We can pick stuff out of state and just go over like the whole methods of the madness for how we go about breaking down big water and small water, both just from here at a desk. We're gonna use the computer, your phone, whatever, and then like actually being out in the water and using all your tools in the boat.
A lot of the time, like when we were up to St. Lawrence, God, we were studying every night. We didn't go up, we didn't fish all day, and we drank all night, and we had a couple beers while we were doing the live stream.
We did every time.
And then we watched that show.
Ooh.
Fucking head through the wall.
Epic family. God, so good.
But we were studying. If we weren't doing the live stream, if we weren't retying, if we weren't eating, we were studying.
Dude, last year and the year before, both times I had either my work laptop or my wife's laptop. This most recent trip.
We had Navionics.
I sat on that thing for hours.
we were doing our homework every night that we were up there. We were taking what we learned from the day, hopefully to apply it to the next day, and then it just didn't pan out.
No, we even had a few guys reaching out that fish up that way quite a bit, that were giving us info, and that worked out really well. Like that started panning out. Doug came through big time with a couple of key spots.
Yeah, dude.
Doug, you're the champ.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I dropped that one big fish on that spot the same day we fished it.
Yep, you did.
Dropped a big fish on almost every spot we fished.
We dropped a big fish. Yeah, we did.
Name of the game sometimes.
Sturgeon. That was cool.
Who's that? Bob. Yeah, Bob. We're definitely going to talk electronics at some point. Jason, yes, I do want to talk technique-specific stuff. Although when it comes to that, I think that's going to have to wait a little bit. I want to save that stuff for when we actually get to the time of the year, when a lot of those techniques start to better pan out. I want to try and make a lot more of those like actual like timely topics, right? Like when we start getting into pre-spawn area, like I've got a handful of baits that I will stick to because they just work, and they have worked for decades in some cases, or the last 5 to 10 years. You know, jig, like there's a couple of different ways we do it, color combos, sizes, weights, trailers. Like I wanted to talk jigs and jerkbaits. We're gonna be their own freaking videos.
Yeah.
Like one episode just dedicated to jigs because it's my go-to, and I can talk about that for ages. Not just like jig specific, but also like condition and water temp specific. Like I can talk jigs all day. So that's techniques. We're gonna get to it. But elaborating on that, I want to try and keep it timely to the time of the year for like, you know, like I'm not going to sit here and talk about a bunch of different topwater baits and how we're going to effectively, you know, in March. Because it's not quite ready for that. I'll save that for like June and July when it starts to really become a thing.
Right.
Same with spinnerbaits. Like I'm not going to really talk about spinnerbaits until April. But that could be its own show. So it'll be fun when we get to that point.
Oh yeah. Because then we'll have updated videos which will show it in action.
Yep.
It's gonna happen. We're not dumb.
No.
What's going on?
I mean, yeah, but no.
Super stupid.
Alright, we can call it quits there. It's 10 o'clock. It's been almost exactly 2 hours since we started the stream. So, thank you all for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Glad you all can tune in. I have more stuff coming soon for giveaway stuff. Let's do some more giveaway stuff next week.
Giveaway stuff?
If there's anything else for people that are just watching it right now or watching this.
I have something to give away.
Oh, yeah? Alright.
Maybe a little couple of jerk baits.
Oh. Like it.
Deep dive jerk baits.
We should get. Yeah, I've got more ideas for giveaway stuff. Alright, so if there's anything else we want us to cover, if you can think of like other topics as we progress with live streams, let me know. Would love to start incorporating more stuff. Beyond that, I think that's it. We've got a bunch of ideas. We got guests coming up. It's gonna be good. So sorry, this is kind of a little bit piecemeal. We had a lot of technical difficulties with the stream. All in all, though, I think it went pretty well. Everything looks pretty good quality-wise. Hopefully the sound is a bit better, but I should be able to troubleshoot everything now. I'll actually have time this week. So next week should be a little bit better. So
like, subscribe,
share it.
hit the bell.
For those that did share it, I saw a
share.
few of you I didn't actually get to on my social media, but those that did share it, thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Hugely helpful. I'm gonna go kill a stream.
Follow us on Instagram.
You can talk to him.
You
Yeah.
can follow me on Instagram.
What's your Instagram, buddy?
Mine
Well,
is-
wait a minute.
Wait, it's
Phantom. Thanks, buddy.
whoa!
Donation.
Thanks,
The
dude.
only donation of the night. Phantom coming in hot. Dude, thank you. That was awesome. $5. I think that's actually the biggest donation, too.
I think it was two.
That beats Fishing Mode's $3 from last week. Hammer time. Thank you, buddy. And Kevin, have a good night. Phantom.
That's awesome.
That was awesome.
Thank you so much.
One last thing before we go. We went to Mid Print Works in Nashville. I brought this up earlier when the stream started, but to reiterate that point, we went and we got the ball rolling on getting hoodies, t-shirts, and hats all quoted. Oh, there goes the camera. We're done. All right. Never mind. Forget it. We got apparel coming up soon. Thank you all for watching. I'm going to kill the stream. Everybody have a great night.
See you later! Oh, I hooked myself. You guys better drink.